Skipping Through Theatre podcast with Nathan and Maddie.
Hello and welcome back to another Skipping Through Theatre episode. Today our special guest is Petra.
Petra is an amazing dancer who has been in many productions and movies. Some include Wicked Part 1 and The School for Good and Evil.
Dua Lipa, Sam Smith, Robbie Williams, X Factor and Brit Awards.
We are so excited to interview her for today's episode, so let's begin.
Hi Petra, how are you?
Hi guys, I'm great. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm
Good,
good, thank you. Okay, right, let's get into the first question.
Mhm.
What inspired you to do dance?
Well, I think like 5 or 6, just before I started primary school in Croatia. I was still in kindergarten, and I still vividly remember the moment my mom came to pick me up, and we were walking through the hallway, and I looked at one of the rooms, and I saw these little girls dancing, twirling around, and I just stood there mesmerized. And my mom saw me, and she was like, "Do you want to join this group?" And that was it. That was the moment I started dancing and haven't stopped.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love that so much because I would say my experience was pretty much similar as well.
Mhm.
Because I used to really like watching like ballet, like on stage and all of that. And I found it so inspiring that you just look up to them and you want to be like that.
Yeah, it's just the moment just captures you and you're mesmerized.
Exactly.
That's it. Game over. You're caught.
Yeah. What was it like being a dancer in Wicked Part 1?
I mean, it was absolutely amazing, I have to say. And it's funny because originally I wasn't even going to audition for it because I'm not really in the musical theater world. So when agency started emailing me about attending the audition, I was kind of like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna leave it. I enjoy musical theater and I have a lot of friends in it, and I always go and watch and support. But I haven't seen Wicked, and I was like, yeah, this is probably not my area. But then one of the other agents emailed me a few days later, and they were like, we really think you should go. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go. And once I got there, I realized, oh wait, the choreographer isn't really like musical theater. He's more kind of from the street dance background. So I immediately saw it's going to be a bit of a fusion of different styles and things like that. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be at all. And then once I stepped into this world, especially like on set and things like that, I mean, the budget was insane. Just these amazing sets, amazing actors, dancers, like everything about it. It was just out of this world. So it was just, it was an amazing opportunity, I think, for any dancer, where whatever background you come from, it would have been like an amazing opportunity to be on set and see all this talent.
I can't imagine like the experience that must have been. It must have been so extraordinary.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was, long hours, hard work, and
Yeah.
everything that comes with that because people just see the product and are like, oh my God, it's amazing. You must have had so much fun. Yes, but it was also, a lot of work put into so everyone can see this final product, which was amazing. I was really happy to see it on big screen. Everything came together really nicely.
Yeah, I loved it when I went to see it in the cinema. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So do you have a fun or humorous memory from your dance career you can share with us?
Well, this is a bit of a it's a nice change to this question because usually I get, oh, can you tell us some kind of a gossip or who was nice, who wasn't nice, and they just want kind of to hear like kind of bad sides to this industry. So, but when it comes to fun memories, I mean, I have loads, but like personally for me, like a funny moment, I just finished, I did a program at Laban, and I was just quite fresh in the industry. I haven't even entered this commercial world. And I got an email from my agent saying that I've been chosen to be one of Dita Von Teese's dancers because she was doing like a little intimate performance in a club. So they were like, you need to go to this hotel where you will meet Dita and her manager. So I went there. I was so nervous. And I walked in there and they met me. It was just me with them. And Dita was so nice. She was so sweet. She wrote little notes on a piece of paper for me to know like what I need to do on stage. She gave me music as well to like practice and listen to it. And then like at what point I had to help her take her corset off. So she was like, okay, let's try it. So she went to take the corset and she came back and she was just standing in front of me fully topless and talking to me like, like I'm talking to you guys. And I was just standing there in her hotel room just with her, and she's topless and she's just chatting to me. And I was like, it was just a surreal moment. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I don't know, at this point I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is showbiz. So yeah, it was just a funny little moment for me when I started working.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was it like doing a film with Cynthia, Erivo, Ariana Grande, and so many more talented people?
It was very humbling because, I mean, when you enter a room with so much talent, you just it reminds you, how much more work you can do, because us as dancers, we always strive to be better and we always try and work on our skills and things like that. So it's a nice little reminder when you walk into the room like that, like, oh, okay, there are people who have all these different skills and you can learn. It's always nice to be put in a room like that because that means growth for you. Because I always tell dancers, if you're in a class, if you're taking a class, go and stand next to the best dancer in that room, because that's how you're gonna, grow more. You're gonna grow quicker because you're gonna feel their energy. You're gonna see what they're doing better than you. You're gonna pick up certain things from them. So, I mean, Cynthia and Ariana, they're such amazing talents. Their voices are just out of this world, as you guys know. And the dancers were all amazing. I mean, when they were doing auditions, they were doing the auditions throughout the whole week. They've seen loads of dancers, so they really picked amazing dancers with different backgrounds and different skill sets. So yeah, it was just very humbling, I would say. I absolutely loved being in a room with all this talent.
Yeah, I can't stop listening to Cynthia's Wizard and I song. I love it.
No, yeah, they're amazing. And you know what? Like I was quite surprised. They always had like energy, especially Ariana. She was more around in our rehearsals, and they were filming both parts of the film at the same time, and they were filming for a full year. And she would always come in with so much energy, super sweet to everyone. And I was thinking, gosh, I don't know how I'd be able to do this. There would be a day when I would come in and be like, guys, don't talk to me. I'm just I don't have energy to deal with people. But they were always, always so welcoming and just, always had like nice energy about them. So yeah, it was great to work with them.
Yeah, it was so much fun sharing the stage with you when we done Principles of Deception. Could you explain what role you played?
So Principle of Deception is a magic show, and it's Ali Cook who created this show. He's a very, very talented magician, and I started working with him years ago as a magician's assistant, which was quite an interesting thing because you learn all these little secrets about magic. So Bird Gang, the dance company I'm with, we kind of did a little bit of collaboration with Ali. We brought him into the dance world originally because we wanted to do a dance piece with a bit of magic. So he came on as a consultant, giving us little magic ideas, tricks, and things like that. And then we made it into a bigger piece, which he was part of as well. Not as a dancer, obviously, just as an actor, magician in it. And we presented that at Breaking Convention. And it was a great fusion of magic and dance. So when he was doing his show, Principal Deceptions, he was like, well, let me bring you guys in just to bring like a different dimension. So he doesn't just have, usual magician assistants, but he had the dancers who played those roles of a magician assistant and a dancer. So I was one of them, and there were three of us. And we were kind of these cheeky little imps just running around the stage and jumping in and out of tricks, which was really fun, especially for the other two dancers who have never done any magic. They absolutely did, because you just learn all of these cool things, as you know, Nathan, because you were part of it as well.
Yeah.
And it was just great to see that fusion on stage of like doing tricks. Then we also performed a bit of dance. And hopefully it was a tryout and it went well for all of us. So hopefully we'll bring it to London soon.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Your
Sorry,
dancing
Nathan.
was amazing. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Your performance of jumping out of the boxes was amazing as well.
Thank you.
That's brilliant how you were like able to get an insight onto like magicians and like all of the cool tricks that they do.
Yeah.
It was really like a friend of mine kind of pushed me. He was like, oh, I know about this audition. They're looking for a magician assistant. I think you'd be great, because they're always looking for kind of more petite girls to be able to jump into these boxes, into small spaces. So I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'll go and try it out. And Ali really liked me, and then we started working together. And yeah, it like we've been working together for years now, and it's nice to be able to bring these different worlds of magic and dance together, because you don't see that often. And when you do this fusion of different kind of worlds together, it's really fun to watch and experience it.
Yeah. Do you have any more exciting things coming up?
Well, it's usually, all pencils like it is in our world. But at the moment, we're waiting to see if Ali's Principle of Deception will get into theatre in London. And then also I will be working later this year with a Croatian choreographer who's a friend of mine on a different project, which is more of a theatre project. And it'll be touring all of Europe and outside of Europe as well. I can't talk much about it because it's still in development. But it'll be again like fusion of singers and dancers. Not music, kind of similar to musical theater, but not musical theater. So kind of still waiting for that development. And then, hopefully we'll travel with that. And if you guys want to, or anyone else who's listening, if you guys want to follow any of my journey, you can always see what I'm doing on Instagram, because that's where I usually post what I'm up to.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
Well, how much time do you have? I think you could do a whole podcast about this. Because it really depends like what you want to do in this industry, because there's more like commercial world, there's musical theater, there's more underground dance. So it depends. But if I would have to kind of talk more about like general dance, like the first important thing that I think people going into this industry is they need to understand it's not an easy industry. Especially because you work as a freelancer, so you don't really know when the next audition or when the next job is gonna come, and also it's stressful, obviously, because you have to get used to rejection, because people see only the stuff you've done, and they're like, oh my god, you're so successful, but they don't see this other part of where you get a lot of no's, a lot of rejection. And that's something you just kind of have to be like, okay, cool, this time it is a no, next time it will be a yes, because a lot of times it's not even about talent. You can be the best in the room, but sometimes it's more about, oh, you're not the right height, you don't have blonde hair, we need someone actually with black hair, and little things like that. But for me, the most important thing, outside of knowing what kind of industry you're stepping into, is just putting time and effort into your skills. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's nothing new you've heard. The more hard work you put into these things, the more you're going to get out of it. Because you don't want to go into an audition and then come out and feel like, oh man, I could have done this better because, I didn't train hard enough or didn't practice this. You want to go into an audition and leave it. And even if you didn't get the job, you want to be like, you know what, I didn't get a job, but I've done my best. I've performed well. My expression was there. That I've done everything they asked. You want to feel like you've done a good job. And that comes from working hard. Because since I started dancing, I didn't have like this massive social life. After school, people would go for like coffees and chats. And I would just go to that dance studio and practice, because that's what I wanted to do. So, it's not about, a lot of times people say, oh, you just have to think positive and, think you're going to do this and do that. And I'm like, yeah, you do, but it is about hard work. That's like number one, like hard work, and, just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because if you put in that effort, do you feel more satisfaction with like the piece you've done?
Yeah, of course, because I know I'm sometimes a victim of not practicing something enough, and then I don't feel great about it afterwards, because I'm like, what was I doing? I need like, why didn't I put more time into this? And as I said, you don't want to feel like that. But anything, it's not just dance. Whether you want to be a dancer, singer, actor, or anything in this entertainment industry, it is just about putting time and effort into these things, learning these skills. And it doesn't matter if you want to be versatile. If you want to be versatile, you can just learn different skills. If you want to just focus on one thing, and it's like, I want to be like the best popper in the scene, then you just focus on that, and you put all your time and effort into that. And nowadays, I think there's more access to it, because you can go on YouTube, you can watch videos, you can there's loads of dance studios, more than before. So you have more access to it. So you don't have, you can't say, oh, well, I didn't know how, I couldn't find a place to go, or I couldn't find videos. You have access to it. So there's no excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite dance you've done in the Wicked movie?
I was mostly working on What Is This Feeling track, and we've had, the thing with this track is that we had different sets within this song, because we worked on different little choreo bits and kind of different things. Like we were in the dining room, then we were in a lab class and things like that. And for me, it was really fun, because we were using different props and things. It was a little bit stressful, because, in the dining room, you're sitting, and then on a count of 5, you need to grab a fork. On a grab of 7, you need to swing that knife. And on the count of 2, you need to jump on the table. So it wasn't just like straight up 5, 6, 7, 8 dancing. It was really challenging, to be like, oh yeah, I need to grab this there and get that other prop here. But my favorite part of it was in the classroom, in the lab class, where it's this fun little chase between Ariana and Cynthia, where Cynthia wants to grab a chair but she can't, and then we're all kind of trying to push her out, but at the same time we're dancing and singing and jumping again on these tables, throwing papers around the class. It's just I found it really fun, but also challenging at the same time, and that's what was nice about it, to have both of these things happening at the same time.
That must have been so much fun.
Yes, it was. And like at first it was a bit stressful, because when we worked on these scenes, we worked for a couple of weeks, and then they were like, okay, we'll let you know when we're shooting this. And we literally went back on set. Actually, not back, but we went on set after all these rehearsals, like 4 or 5 months later. So,
wow.
Yeah, and we couldn't film anything in the rehearsals, because you can't take your phones in. So we didn't have any footage. So it was kind of like, okay, 4 or 5 months later, you're back there, you go on set, and you're like, so what was the actual choreo? So we have to kind of like remind ourselves and help each other, to go over these things. So yeah, it was fun, but also a little bit stressful to get there, to get over these little things that we have to do, like remember things, practice things, but we managed, because I mean, you guys watched it and you saw how amazing it was.
Yeah, 100%.
So our last question, I know you're part of the Bird Gang, and could you explain who they are and what they do?
So Bird Gang is a dance company, and we're a collective. There are dancers, teachers, choreographers, and we are actually celebrating 20 years this year of the
Oh, wow.
company. I haven't been part of the company that long, but the founders, they celebrating 20 years. So that's another project that we're gonna probably try and do for Breaking Convention. Just bring our all the pieces together and kind of like perform like this gigantic piece of Bird Gang. But being part of Bird Gang is nice because you have some kind of dance family where you work together and you perform together, but also everyone is a strong individual within the dance industry because everyone also goes out of the company and does things, and that's from musical theater, commercial world, all the way to TV and film. So everyone has a great skill set, and then when we all come together, we all perform together and work well together. And if you've seen Bird Gang's pieces, you can see the style, you can recognize the style because we as a company have strong identity. And one of the things, a lot of times in our performances, we wear masks. So basically it becomes more about movement than who's performing. Oh, is it a guy? Is it a girl? Or is it my friend? It's more about the movement and focusing on movement.
It must be so nice having like a big variety of people, especially in different aspects of the industry.
Yeah, of course. Bird Gang as a company mostly specialized in street dance, but I came from more kind of contemporary and commercial world. And then when you see other people, they do work in musical theater, they do work in the commercial world. We even have people who work in TV and film and as actors. So it's just nice to have this massive skill set. So whoever comes to us, we're like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we have people. And it's nice because we also have the Flock, which is the main company. We have the Nest, which are people being trained to become part of the main company. And then we have Eggs, who are under 18. So we're training them as well. So we have that whole thing going on, training people up and just, becoming part of the main company, and then also going out there and doing your own thing as an artist.
Thank you so much for joining us, Petra. It's been a pleasure having you on our podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Skipping Through Theatre podcast with Nathan and Maddie.